Yes, indeed, this is Professor David Steinberg of the SteinbergFiles.com. Nothing demonstrates the incoherence of America's immigration policy like sanctuary cities, which all too often are becoming sanctuaries for murder. Let's talk for a few minutes about the case of Edwin Ramos, sentenced to 3 life sentences. He's a 26-year-old El Salvador native living in San Francisco, and what he did in June of 2008 was to open fire on a car containing 48-year-old Tony Bologna and his 2 sons, all killed. There was a 3rd son in the car who survived the killing. Triple murder. And eventually Mr. Ramos is caught, and eventually Mr. Ramos is convicted. What's much more interesting is what happened before the killing. By Ramos, an illegal alien. The killer is an illegal alien. And what happened before the killing is really particularly heartbreaking. Only months prior to the shooting, police pulled Ramos over doing a routine traffic stop in the Tenderloin. And his passenger, 20-year-old Ramos, and his passenger, 20-year-old Eric Lopez, attempted to flee. And the passenger was seen tossing a handgun. Just months before the killing. But Ramos had plenty of encounters with law enforcement prior to that. He was also pegged for assaulting a man on a Muni bus, a city bus in San Francisco in 2003. And this is even better, attempting to rob a pregnant woman the following year. Hey, that's pretty cool. Attempting to rob a pregnant woman. You don't get any cooler than that, right? Even though Ramos had been in and out of California's penal system for much of his teenage years, he'd been in and out of the penal system for years. And yet, authorities never turned him over to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Why? Because of a 1989 decision by the San Francisco Board of Supervisors declaring San Francisco a sanctuary city for undocumented immigrants. That's right. That's right. You have this man with a long history of violent crime who should have been deported. But the San Francisco city government refused to do it because they are a sanctuary city. So what if the guy had a criminal record? So what if he ends up killing a few people? We're a sanctuary city. Many in law enforcement, such as former San Francisco police chief and current district attorney George Gascon, supported the sanctuary city policies. I don't believe Gascon is still this district attorney he was at the time of this article. It really doesn't make any difference. That's the bottom line here. Had United States law been enforced, had the law actually been followed, this brutal criminal would have been sent back to Mexico. And the Bologna family would still all be alive and well. There's no disputing it. But because of the wonderful sanctuary city movement, these 3 innocent people are dead. That's the bottom line here. If it's a law-abiding citizen on one side of the controversy, an illegal immigrant on the other, even a killer, You know who the government's going to decide with. Right, John McCain? We need those illegal alien votes. And if Senator McCain's legislation, and it's not just McCain who supports it, it's also President Obama. Let's give him credit too. If this legislation passes, you know what? Every city will be a sanctuary city. Because people like Edwin Ramos are going to be citizens. They're going to be American citizens. There's not going to be any deporting. So, what's the outcome of the Ramos case? You have 3 innocent people dead. You have the rest of the taxpayers on the hook, while Mr. Ramos spends the rest of his life rotting away in jail. Since he has 3 life sentences, I suppose he'll spend the rest of his life in jail. We all get to pay for that. No doubt he'll have plenty of time on his hands to indoctrinate other prisoners, maybe prisoners who otherwise would have some hope. He can indoctrinate them into the gang lifestyle. This just demonstrates the incoherence of the sanctuary city movement, and further the incoherence of the amnesty policy. What do you think, John McCain? You want what's being done in San Francisco to be done nationally. So I guess you think this is a great result. How about you, Nancy Pelosi? You represent San Francisco. Do you care about the victims? No! All you people care about, gotta get the Hispanic vote. Gotta get the Hispanic vote. Few murders? No big deal. As long as I get reelected, right? This is Professor David Steinberg of the SteinbergFiles.com.